A lot of women are in a rebellious state. The majority, no matter where you go, they're in a rebellious state. Of course, I'm not talking about every single person, every single woman, no. But the great majority of them are in a rebellious state. And to some extent, you can't really blame them because in the spirit of capitalism, women gravitate towards that which is popular. Because women move as a group. Oftentimes, they follow what is trending. They follow that which is, the latest, that which is going on, that which is, and you can see this in terms of music, Um, the basic framing of any individual oftentimes is that the thing that you're told not to do, we're attracted to it. Even as males, we're attracted to the things that the thing that's bad for you. Don't talk to that girl, you're going to talk to her. Now, for girls, it's a lot worse because, unfortunately for them, the things that are bad for them, they're encouraged to do them. The things that are bad for women. Let's give you an example. There was some guys going around saying, "Hey, you know what? Don't dress like that. It's not a good look." Women will be like, "Hey, it's my body, my choice." You come to the gym dressed appropriately. Instead of women saying, "Hey, maybe this man's got a point. Why is this man, who's not my brother or my father, give me good advice?" They will retaliate against that person and they're going to attack that person instead of recognizing that this person who's a stranger is looking out for them. That's their rebellious mindset. All they see is that anybody who speaks on their conduct contrary to that which makes them feel good is attacking them. Not knowing that we men sometimes will say that girl would be a good woman if only she was not as promiscuous or only she didn't dress like that. So, because men know who to have fun with, and they know who is looking like a wife to them. And a lot of women feel like they can just do whatever they want for the duration that they want to do it until that expires. And then when they get tired of it, some man is supposed to be ready with open arms and take them on. They're in a rebellious state because the powers that be encourages that behavior. That's why we have this idea, like we have the Beyonce. Beyonce is not a young woman. But when you see her performing, she's wearing like a leotard, she's wearing all kinds of clothes that are not appropriate. And they've never been appropriate, but we've kind of normalized the sexualization of every singer, no matter how wealthy they are. Have you ever noticed that? Whether it's Rihanna, Sexy Red, Glorilla, Madonna, just, back in the day you had, Cher. But it don't matter how much money the singer has, a female singer. They always go for the sexualization of their body. They always sexualize themselves. So now women look at that as the example to follow. That is the thing to do. When you start to be popular, and unfortunately now part of the whole popularity is no longer limited to celebrities. It's also influencers. So now they're encouraged to be rebellious. And God forbid a man gonna say, cover up. What woman wants to hear that? And because they're in that state of mind, men cannot take the risk of dating or wifing them. So that's why there's a pronounced culture of situationships. Also, there's a lot of women that are quite happy with that because they want to feel their right to sleep around like men do. Not knowing that oftentimes the same men that will happily sleep with you, will not be the one to rescue you out of the streets as far as wife, because they know that you are easy lay. So a lot of women being in that rebellious state, it's working against them because a lot of them will be bitter because the empowerment, the whole idea of being empowered to be bad, is contrary to what men like in women. Now you could say, well, I don't care what one man or what a man thinks. But then the same women will say there's no good men out there. So overall, the problem is that rebellious state only works temporarily when they're in their youth. You know, when they're looking up to Rihanna, looking up to Beyonce, looking up to Sukiana, looking up to Sexy Red, you know, looking up to Nicki Minaj. You know, you can see that the things that they follow are not even wholesome. The dress code, you know, the things that I'll be 43 this year. The things that used to be like whorish wear, things that like fishnet stockings, you know, the things that you would see in a movie that was more like a prostitute movie or something like that. Where the things that you would see, that's no more wear now. Gym clothes. So the mindset is that I should be able to do that. And the problem for women, the thing that makes it worse for them, the reason why they're quite comfortable in their rebellion, is that it feels like there's no consequences. A woman can go on multiple dates and use all the men, and her girls would say, as you should, because you're hot, rock it while you got it. There's no consequences to the behavior. And unfortunately for them, it's a good thing for men that when we do something bad, guys will pull you up on it. But for women, unfortunately for them, the consequences come where they are not able to revert back and correct it. Because when you're now age, you're 35 plus or 40, you can't undo the years of of the damage you did to yourself. Men, we are forced to be accountable and be corrected for us to succeed in this world. No man becomes successful just by using his body or whatever it is. It's unheard of. But a woman can move through her 20s and just be successful at just taking her clothes off. And women will not correct her. I mean, right now, granted, there's some ladies who are speaking against that, but that's not the majority. Because the majority of women be like, yeah, girl, you go, girl, you do that. You're a baddie. So because of that problem, a lot of women, the consequences come later. So the rebellion manifests, like the consequences of the rebellion manifests itself much later. Now, unfortunately for men, because the majority of women are in that state, it means there's no wives out there. And men have natural needs, so naturally they're going to sleep with these women, but they don't want them to be wives. So we're going to have a lot of depressed women who are undesirable because they have prioritized being so-called empowered. They've prioritized so-called, being baddies, being boss chicks. And the values and qualities you're supposed to cultivate over a period of time, they don't have them. Because you don't just suddenly reach 39 and 40 and all of a sudden you got wife qualities. You cultivate this from young. And the environments are not conducive. And women are lying to each other.